Back 2 weeks from today, a new group of leaders will step into offices all across Shelby County government, taking on new responsibility for the people they serve. Here to unpack what effective and responsible leadership looks like, regardless of politics, is Memphis Rainbow Push Coalition President Dr. Joseph Kiles. Dr. Kiles, welcome back to 3 at 3. Good to see you.
Good, Mr. Coleman. How are you, sir?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you for asking. We just had a conversation with Bobby White of the Greater Memphis Chamber about XAI. When it comes to leadership going forward, especially with data centers, how do you see that playing out with our new leaders going into office?
Well, I've been informed of some different technology that would not require so much of the water, that would not impact our aquifer. And so I think that moving forward, we need to investigate that. I'm told it may be a little bit more expensive, but at the end of the day, you've got to find a way. If there's job creation, that sounds fine, but we cannot pollute the air and the water and decrease values of homes in which these corporations come into. We have to protect our citizens.
When it comes to protecting our citizens, do we have to hear from these elected leaders even more so, you think?
I think that should be a #1 concern, right up there with crime. At the end of the day, the environment, we all work, and many of these neighborhoods are going into are retired communities. People have worked their entire lives to build these homes, and now they feel set upon. And the conversations that I'm having with communities, particularly there, you've got elementary schools, high schools, you've got senior communities there. We cannot be seen as taking advantage of the least of these. And so whatever parameters and policies that need to go in place, we need to make sure that we take care of our citizens. But we still have to create jobs, and so it is a different dynamic. And I understand the corporate community wanting to make sure that there are opportunities, but then we have to quantify that those jobs are actually going to those who live in Shelby County, who are going to pay and buy mortgages and spend money in the economy.
Help paint a picture here. Effective leadership. What does it look like for some of these county officials who were just elected, city officials, others? What should it look like?
Let's go to the top of the ticket, because there's a good friend of mine, Anthony Buckner, the sheriff, #1 constitutional officer. He is the high sheriff, right? He's going to set the tone. I think that the sheriff and Mayor-elect Lowry need to look at creating an opportunity where they bring in ethics and a transparency officer that puts a limit between them and the community and those corporate business leaders who would come in and jam them up and possibly look for indictments. When I see, as I'm a member of Kappa Alpha Psi, and I saw this poster just recently that showed all the dynamic things that our fraternity brothers are doing, but I saw it in a different light. I saw it as a wanted poster. I see young black men in power, billions of dollars. Whenever you take those resources from a community, that's the action. You voted them in. There is a reaction from those who want to control that power, capitalism. And so I think both of them should be looking at ethics officers to help protect them from those who will do them harm.
Quickly here, that relationship, that rapport, will there be one between the new mayor and the new sheriff?
It seems to be, because they've known each other for some time. They've worked in different capacities, but knowing both of their personalities, they're very compassionate individuals. And I just recently wrote an op-ed that's going to come out in the Commercial Appeal about the conditions of the jail and why it's important now that we undertake the seriousness of building a new jail. We've got to protect those individuals who work there, as well as those who are held there until they see their day in court.
You also say leadership. You have seen what leadership looks like in a man who is a police lieutenant.
Oh, yes.
With the Memphis Police Department.
Well, CJ Davis has got to be excited. She's got 9 precincts. Her and her command staff, they've got over 2,700 employees, officers. Many of them are great, and they do great work all over the place. But Lieutenant Hardaway from the South Precinct at Range Station, he is one of Memphis' finest. He is the definition of community policing. He works hard, he's committed, he's ethical, he trains. The individuals that work for him respect him. You can't go through South Memphis without mentioning Lieutenant Hardaway's name, principals, teachers, other of his colleagues. The work that he has done has set such a tone that is such a beautiful thing, and I wanted to highlight him because many times police officers in general don't get the best. He is the best.
A real picture of what leadership looks like.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Dr. Kiles.
Thank you,
Good to
Alex.
see you as always.
I appreciate you so much.